Did you look at this game? Pitt is 3-0. Villanova is 4-1. They are the leaders in the Big East. Neither one of those teams is nationally ranked. The two top teams unranked. It's 19-15 right now. Number 17, St. John's at Miami. No, this is not a hockey score. 6-1 right now. Miami has the lead for Leonard Hamilton over number 17. Also in the Big East, Providence at Boston College. Boston College has lost 19 consecutive conference games. Their last win in the conference came at home last year against Providence. They're tied right now. Still plenty of time to go in the first half. We'll continue with more in just a moment here. We are at halftime, but first, some more scores. Army with a 4-point halftime lead over Lafayette.
Diamond Crystal knows there's nothing like pure, clear water. That's why Diamond Crystal makes some of the most advanced water softener salts you can buy. Make your water special with Diamond Crystal.
This project's the big one. Get me Jack Lemmon, Duvall, Laura Dern.
Can't.
They're altering original movies for HBO.
Get me Billy Crystal, Whoopi, Robin Williams.
HBO's got them, comic relief.
Timothy Hudson. Perfect.
Can't.
Don't
HBO's.
tell me. What do I have to do to get these people?
Get HBO?
Where are the stars? Making bold, gutsy, original entertainment for HBO.
Who can I get? Flipper?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, we could give him a call.
HBO. Now's the time to get it. Both Visa and American Express Gold cards can get you to La Roche-Guyon, one of the prettiest towns in France. But should something go wrong here, only Visa Gold can get you out.
You had to come to France, right?
Don't start, Marty.
Because La Roche-Guyon's only towing service
No, we're not getting a tow truck. I can get this out.
doesn't take American Express.
Oui?
Visa Gold, delivering what really matters.
Jamal's from.
Honey, that means I eat France.
It's everywhere you want to be.
This royal throne of kings, this happy breed of men, this earth of majesty, this little world.
The airline that's uniting the world. United brings you non-stop service from 6 U.S. cities to London's Heathrow and the land of poets.
This blessed plot, this earth, this realm, this England.
Come fly the friendly skies.
From the Big Ten, when we're done, we'll move it to the Southeastern Conference. Game number 2, LSU 7-4, 1-1 in the conference at Alabama. They're 14-1, 2-0 in the SEC. They're off to their best start since 76-77. That one at 9:30 Eastern Time. But there's still more to come from the Big Ten. Damon Bailey, the sophomore, leaning in, has the miss, but follows and sticks it back. Indiana with a 12-point lead at the half.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dick Vitale, and if you love college basketball...
First, it's time again. The Pizza Hut Players of the Week.
Guys that deliver, right? We want guys that are all delivery team.
We want a pizza.
Yeah, I like that, too. Jalen Rose, 59 points last week. Had a great week. The freshman diaper dandy. Also, Chris Smith had 57. What about Eminem, Maria McLean? They were sensational. But I'm sorry, guys. My winner, he delivered big-time style. 64 points against Alabama and LSU total. Averaged 32 a game. Welcome back to college basketball, Todd Day. What a performance last week.
It was that, and stay tuned. We'll have every
14 for 17, as we indicated, and that certainly has been the difference. And Indiana has really capitalized all year with going to the free throw line.
Jim Jackson, 55% from the floor, even with that great defense. That shows you why he's an All-American. The rest of the team hitting less than 1 of 3.
I'll tell you when I knew that they have arrived when we talk about Indiana. When they went to Cincinnati and beat Cincinnati by 21 at Cincinnati, you knew they were a good basketball team. Robinson starting, picked up 3 fouls early.
Gent won't go. Robinson got the tip, and Jackson got the follow.
That's his versatility. I picked my midseason player of the year. It's Jimmy Jackson.
And they stepped out of bounds. Cheney turns it over against the press.
Remember, Mike, we often talk about the management of a game and how the first 4 minutes after the half are essential, especially now for Ohio State. They need a spurt.
Baker drives to the baseline, won't go. Cheney and Anderson fight for the rebound. Out of bounds, out to Ohio State.
What a great effort by Chris Gent. Bobby Knight also spoke highly of Gent because of his unbelievable enthusiasm. Hey, where's Baker been? Baker, where has he been?
Invisible.
Last year, I thought he was the premier point guard until he got hurt against Indiana. Nice
Gent. Got behind Robinson, was all alone, and the lead is cut to 8.
Watch, they'll trap on a first pass, and then they'll rotate back into man-to-man.
Jackson nearly got the steal, but here's Bailey for Indiana.
They're back in his game.
Only 8 points in 19:05 to go.
And they haven't played well, and they're only down 8. They haven't shot well. They haven't had fast break opportunities. There's the dribble penetration.
Bailey got a step on Baker. The basket will count. The foul is on Baker. And Randy Ayers really upset. He thought that foul occurred well before the shot. You know what? So did I.
I did too. I think in the NBA you count this. In the NBA that counts. And you know what else? He was a former NBA official. There's the drive. There's the dribble. Continuation is in the NBA, not on the collegiate level.
But he got it that time, and Bailey will go to the free throw line. 77% free throw shooter, 7 points tonight.
Tom O'Neal worked in the NBA for a year. Randy Drury's on the game with Tim Higgins, one of the best.
Baker racing back down court. Brown.
That was an excellent play by Baker, pushing the ball up the court. He created the opportunity for Brown. Last year, what a difference a year makes. That's nothing but net. NBN, nothing but nylon. He had 29 against the Hoosiers.
This is Cheney.
Cut you to pieces inside with their screening game. Try to watch the action away from the ball, people.
Bailey isolated on Gent, can't do anything with it. Anderson tries to dump it down low, too hard, but by a touch by Ohio State.
Mike, I always talk about spacing when I talk about Indiana because when they're in practice, they're constantly addressing that issue. And the reason they like to be 15 feet apart is so that the defense can't give good help.
Reynolds trying to penetrate.
Nice backboard shot.
He missed the shot, but Robinson gets his 4th foul. He got his first 3 in 3 minutes of the first half, and now in 1:47 of the second half, he picks up his 4th.
I really feel sorry for Bill Robinson. He's really struggling. He's trying to give an outstanding effort. See Gent right now? He does not see the ball, man theory. You must see ball and man. They catch him staring at the ball, has no vision of his man, and Cheney sneaks right behind him for a backdoor cut.
Cheney 3 for 3, 9 points, and Robinson really starts, but he's on the bench with 4.
I really feel badly for him. He's trying, he's given an unbelievable effort, but he just lacks the foot speed and the quickness.
In a slower paced game, he is very effective inside. 47-34, the lead grows to 13 again. Baker with that huge first step. He's fouled on the way in.
Baker has really super quickness to the basket. He has a good first step.
And that's 3 on Calbert Cheney.
One of the big dilemmas, and we talked about it in the Michigan State game, the reason they need Lawrence Funderburg, they have no presence on the interior.
Right.
They are a perimeter team. When you look at Ohio State, even when you talk about Gent and you talk about Jackson, this guy Funderburg becomes an MVP kind of player because they need some scoring on the interior.
Baker hits the free throw. He has 6 on the night.
Gent is really a perimeter player, and so is Jackson.
They only go inside because they have to. Baker, a 63% shooter, misses the second. 12-point lead, 17:57 to go from Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana.
Bailey wide open, they missed him. Wide open, he's pleading.
Reynolds with that real hard dribble. This is Cheney.
Whenever a guard begins penetration, the other guard flares out to try to make it even tougher to give help.
Cheney got away from Baker.
He's so quick. He's so explosive. He's one of the real outstanding small forwards in America, along with this guy with the ball. Who's the best?
Calvert Cheney has a dozen. Jackson got caught up in the air, had to dump it off. Jamal Brown for three. Jet with a good rebound.
Is he giving a great effort?
And he is fouled.
Chris Gent, you talk about emotion from Sparta, New Jersey. He was one of my all Havliceks last year. Outstanding sixth man coming off the bench.
On Calvert Cheney, 4 fouls, and Bob Knight will get him out of the game. Jamal Meeks will check in.
Look at a little screen and roll. Simple screen and roll, one of the oldest plays in basketball, executed by Anderson and Cheney.
Indiana up by 14. That matches their biggest lead. Funderburk going against Anderson.
Anderson wants the challenge. He says, come on, Sir Lawrence. He was not very popular with his teammates when he played at Indiana.
5-second call. Excellent defense. They turn it over again.
Mike, I was studying Indiana's scores. I mean, they beat Cincinnati, as I said, by 21, 81-60. They beat Minnesota 96-56. They blew out Wisconsin.
When they get on a roll and they're running this offense well and playing the kind of the defense that they do, they are very tough to stop. Bailey with a jumper won't go.
Bailey came in with all that publicity. And he came out of Bedford, North Lawrence, the highest score in the history of high school basketball.
Jackson, who may need to do more of that, just take it on his own and see what he can do.
I agree with you. I think he tries to be too unselfish on the floor.
He has 16 points, averaging 24 points a game. That's 10th in the country.
Anderson's an excellent screener. He really goes head-hunting as well. Watch 32 now. He's looking to post. Good slash move by Anderson.
Over Funderburk, the lead back to 14.
See, Funderburk's having a tough time defensively. He's having a real tough time to handle these screens and the cutting to the goal.
Jackson a little too much one-on-one that time. Baker gets it, misses. Gent pushed and he's fouled. And it will be Damon Bailey.
What notoriety and publicity Damon had since the time he was written up in Sports Illustrated as a youngster.
That's 3 on Damon Bailey.
Anderson right now is going to run a little horizontal screen, cuts to the basket. Nobody plays them. Poor job defensively by Ohio.
14-point lead with 15:56 to go in the games. They always say offense sells tickets, defense wins championships. What is the key to Bob Knight's defense success over the year?
Well, his philosophy over the last 21 years is, number 1, pressure the basketball. 2, beat the man to the basketball. 3, give a lot of help. 4, anticipate. 5, block out, and when you do those things, you win. He said, I don't want guys that are reactors. I want anticipators. I want to be one step ahead of the action.
Try to go low to Jackson. Damon Bailey knocked it away, and Reynolds stole it.
That was Bailey anticipating the pass into Jackson. Wide open again, they miss Bailey. And now he lays a back screen. Pops out off to the screen. See, once you lay the screen and pop back out, you're so dangerous because the defense has a tendency to drop into the interior.
Boy, outside of 10 feet, everybody on this team looks past first.
Chris Reynolds doesn't have to score a point to be an effective player.
Reynolds goes baseline, and he'll draw a blocking foul down there.
Came out of Peoria, Illinois, almost went to Duke. Baker's really been not Mark Baker, not the player that I've seen earlier in his career. Indiana really gets credit for that because they have kept Ohio State from getting into transition.
Alex Davis picked up the last foul. That was the 3rd on the team. Nice drive. Greg Graham has had a big night.
He stripped Jimmy Jackson, took him one-on-one. Jackson really not focused defensively in that possession, and he was embarrassed in that one-on-one maneuver.
Gent walked. 16-point lead is the biggest of the night for Indiana with 15:01 to go. Hope you'll be with us from Honolulu, Jackson, and me.
You're going to Hawaii?
I have to, Dick.
That's not fair.
I have to leave. You know how much I hate to leave the snow and the cold, but I have to.
That's not fair after what I had to go through to get here tonight. I mean, that is not fair, Mr. Patrick. Hawaii.
We'll send you to Minnesota.
I'm going to call up our prez. I'm going to say, come on, Mr. B. Give me that assignment.
Graham back in action, isolated on Jackson. This is Anderson from 19, missed it. Offensive rebound, Reynolds.
They're just out hustling him now. They're really out hustling him. Wide open shot.
Graham for three.
Get ready for a blowout. Get a TO, Randy. Get a TO. We'll have a blowout. Get a timeout. Indiana does a great job with their team defense. Now watch right here how they're all in great help. You see them constantly giving help, always anticipating, reading what the defense is, reading on defense. See Bailey anticipating? And the reason I was a little flustered there, I have to admit this, to our producer, Mr. Godelli. You're not going to believe this, Fred Godelli, our producer. John Cougar Mellencamp, there he is. I was born in a small town, but you know why I was flustered? Tell them why. They delivered us some pizza.
We asked for it at halftime, and we get it.
I couldn't believe it while I'm trying to work on the telestrator. It broke my concentration.
Pretty good service. Jim Jackson needs to take over a little bit. Damon Bailey gives him the big stare after he kicked the ball out of bounds.
The Hoosier hysterics are really into it. The crowd has become a big factor.
Jamal Brown and Brandewie come back in for Randy Ayers, who's trying to find something that works on offense.
Well, you know, he's got no help offensively out of Baker and Brown. They have really not been a big-time factor scoring like they were last year against the Hoosiers.
Almost everyone except Jackson has been invisible. Funderburk got it, and he's fouled, and they'll pick Anderson for his first personal.
Crowd glazed some boos on Lawrence. That was a smooth delivery there. Caught the ball in deep on a low post. Spun into the lane. Gets the good post position. Perfect post position. Now see, the lane is wide open. He loves to spin into the middle of the lane. And look at the emotion. That's just all frustration that he let out right there. He's a good player.
Hits the free throw. He has 5 tonight.
Mike, he's going to be a solid player.
He will be.
I don't think it's going to be long before he's put right into the starting lineup. He really is needed so much for this team athletically along that baseline.
Meeks and Reynolds in there together for Indiana. The Hoosiers up by 16. They've been in control since the start when they jumped on top 15-2. Graham off bounds, can't hit it. Anderson tried to keep it alive. Here come the Buckeyes. Alley-oop. Funderburk scores and he's fouled.
Was that a great play?
Pass, great catch.
Athletic play. What a play by Funderburk. Is there any doubt that he can play? Bobby Knight said, I watched that in practice. Unbelievable catch. Just a great catch. Now there's the lead by Brown. Now he's got to go up. Look at the timing. He's got a defensive player in front of him. Perfect timing. What a catch.
Meeks commits the personal. Funderburk was 7 trying to hit a three-point play and does, and that makes it 56-43. Ohio State still hanging around.
6 straight points by Funderburk.
Baker against Reynolds. They try to go to a trap, and Baker will commit the foul. That's his 3rd.
Randy Ayers trying to offer some encouragement. Last year, the National Coach of the Year. His peers absolutely love him. He's got a great personality. Kids love playing for him. He's an outstanding communicator. One of the great assets today in coaching is the ability to communicate is so needed, and that's his strength.
Meeks, great spin move, no whistle, lost the ball out of bounds. Bodies went everywhere, no foul.
A little bit out of control, driving down the lane. That's been one of the raps on Meeks, General, Robert Montgomery Knight in the Hall of Fame.
Both coaches want to know why the whistle didn't blow when 3 guys hit the floor. Probably a good no call, though.
Bailey laid a great back screen for Graham and then popped right out.
Brandewie knocked that one out of bounds, and Ohio State has picked up the defensive intensity.
The Indiana kids are moving much better without the basketball than they did earlier this season. They're starting to get into that rhythm of that passing and screening and cutting game.
Anderson left alone as they dumped it back outside. Missed his shot, Ohio State's ball. Here comes Baker.
Created by dribble penetration. See, here's where Baker loves to play, in the open court.
Jackson for 3. Got it!
Jimmy Jackson with a good look at the basket. We're down to 10-point game, Mike.
19 points for Jim Jackson.
A tough 19. He's had to earn them.
Boy, he has that.
Right now, they got to find their number one option and get right now on the floor. Anderson's got to be their number one option. Anderson's got to be their number one option on the floor. Bailey, the second option.
Cheney, of course, is out of there. Here is a blocking foul as Funderburk stepped out and tried to draw the charge. Couldn't do it. His second.
Anderson could feel a little fatigue late in the game, playing with the flu. There's number 32. Now he's going to try to drive on a lane. Funderburk tries to act a little bit. Doesn't beat him to the spot.
Skelton comes into the game for Baker.
Talbot Cheney. 4 fouls.
Meeks down the lane again. Skelton missed the shot after he made the great move.
That was Reynolds.
Excuse me, Reynolds.
Reynolds with that drive to the basket.
And Ohio State all at once has found their eyes. Skelton hits the jumper. It's an 8-point game.
They're really pushing the ball up the floor a lot better. The same thing happened in the St. John's game. They had a big lead. Cheney got in foul trouble. He went out. St. John's caught him, and they had to come from behind. Let's see how long Bobby waits before he puts in Cheney. Good drive to the basket by Reynolds.
Ohio State had scored 11 in a row until Reynolds hit that one. Jamal Brown blocked by Anderson.
Too much time on the clock for Ohio State to be rushing the action. Reynolds demonstrates what we talked about dribble penetration earlier, and Ohio State said we have to work on adjusting at halftime to shut down dribble penetration. There it is. See the penetration? And look how slow Ohio State converges to the basketball. Their rotation was very slow to close off the driving lane.
Gent comes back in for Ohio State. Matt Nover, number 24, comes back in for Indiana, and Anderson will get a breather with 11:51 to go in the game.
That was a big basket by Reynolds to break Uncle Mo.
Sure
Uncle Mo had arrived, and
Brown kicks it back outside. Skelton for 3.
He can shoot the jump shot. He had the big 3 against Northwestern when they came from behind.
58-51. Ohio State is closed within 7.
It's amazing. They're down 7 the way they've performed thus far tonight.
Well, they were almost out of it. It was 56-37. They've outscored Indiana 14-2 since then. There's a block. Here's Graham with a follow. Another block. Thunderbird got that one.
Bobby Knight can't believe it. Got to be careful he doesn't get a T. Thunderbird with the rejection.
Jackson.
He better get a T. Oh, Mr. Knight. He doesn't like to call the timeout.
Jackson has 21. Holy cow, what a comeback by Ohio State.
Bobby can be stubborn in not calling a timeout.
The one thing you have to watch for in something like this, a team that's down as much as they were, you burn up so much just to get close, and you don't have enough to get the lead.
Especially if you don't have a deep bench. But Jackson's so physically strong.
Bailey traveled.
They're out of rhythm right now. He needs a timeout to settle his club down.
The next TV timeout won't be for over 2.5 minutes. This is the closest we've been since 3 minutes into the ball game.
He can get really stubborn. He's starting to get on the official big time.
Tim Higgins, one of the crew members, just walked by Bob Knight's bench, one of the better officials around. Jackson.
And a one-guard set.
Jackson got it for 3.
He's got to call a timeout, Mike. He's got to call a timeout and regroup his team.
58-56. Ohio State has come out of nowhere. Nover walked.
I don't understand not calling the timeout, and I have great respect for that man on the sideline. One of the greatest coaches ever to coach the game of basketball.
He's always done it his way.
And he's going to say, that's why you're up there, Vitale, and I'm over here.
But Ohio State, believe it or not, has a chance to tie or take the lead. And they were down 19 just a moment ago. And Calbert Cheney will come back into the ballgame.
With 4 fouls coming in at the 10-minute mark.
Gent ties it.
Why no timeout, Mike? Psychologically, you'll let him get even. You want to call the timeout when you are on top so your kids know that you're in command.
This has been an unbelievable run. Ohio State has outscored Indiana 21-2 to tie it up.
Wow. Like it's been all Jackson and Funderburk in this run. This 19-point spread. There's Meeks driving. Now watch Funderburk. Rejection City, number 34. And now they get it back. He says, are you kidding me? It's coming back in your face. And General Robert Montgomery Knight, he can't believe it. That's my former player. Look at him. He's yelling foul, foul, foul. Call the foul. Wow.
If you joined us late with 14:32 to go in the game, Indiana led 56-37. Ohio State in the last 4.5 minutes has been on a 21-2 run.
And Lawrence Funderburk's been one of the keys when he had that 6 points in a row when they were down 19. Hit that good low post drive to the goal.
Jamal Brown with a brilliant save there, and Ohio State with a chance to take the lead.
And they take Funderburk out of the game to get him a little rest.
Brown dumps it loaded. Gent, follow-on. Got the roll!
What a performance by Chris Gent. Tenacious. Good low post player can come out on a perimeter. He is fired up. Cheney's got 4 fouls.
A 23-2 run.
And the crowd is stunned. The crowd is totally out of this game right now.
And they throw it away. The first time Ohio State has led tonight came on the last bucket.
This game, you talk about a turnaround. What an unreal turnaround. You're stunned here. You can't believe it. I can't believe it.
It's amazing.
College basketball, so unpredictable. That's why it's such a great, great sport.
Boy, Jackson has done a great job in leading the charge, too.
Yeah, he's really finding people, scoring when he has to score, and not forcing shots.
He's a great, great player. Skelton, who has done a great job coming off the bench. I tell you what, he has lit it up. He's hit 2 threes and another 2, and it's a 5-point Ohio State lead.
Skelton and Funderburk have been such positive people off the bench. Indiana's now playing a little timid, playing a little scared. Here's what they need a lift from one of their seniors. Anderson's got to give them a lift.
Ohio State's bench has 14 points in the half. Big 3 by Greg Graham.
Big basket.
Oh, they needed that.
Stepped out after the screen. Jackson's handling the ball more and more now, almost playing like a point guard with the basketball.
Graham has 16 points. Funderburk will check in at the next dead ball.
Jackson handled the ball, and then he went inside the post. Now he wants to take him one-on-one.
Jackson over to Bailey. Air ball.
He wanted a foul. He says, come on, hit my arm. I'm the All-American.
Well, you have to think something happened. He doesn't miss jumpers that badly without some help. Here's the storyline. Ohio State has obliterated a 19-point deficit. Jackson has scored 24 under tremendous pressure. Indiana had the advantage from the line in the first half, and Greg Graham with 16 points has had a big offensive night for the Hoosiers.
I still can't believe not calling the timeout. I'm really shocked by that. Really shocked in that run.
26-5 is the run. Bailey blocked on the way up. Cheney got it.
They're a different team when Talbot Cheney's on the floor. They fell behind against St. John's after the big lead. He got in foul trouble.
Cheney has 14, tied again at 63.
They ought to go right at Cheney now. Whoever he's guarding, they ought to attack him. See, right now, Jet should post him. They should get the ball to him. They should bring the ball to Jet and make Cheney have to guard him.
He's still been very aggressive on defense. Baker with a jumper way short. He has had an off night. Here's Cheney.
Got to watch the charge.
He pulled up and then missed it badly. The follow is good. Damon Bailey.
No, Greg Graham.
I'm sorry, Graham.
Graham, good offensive rebound position. See this possession right now. Randy's calling play 3. Right now, they should take the ball over to Jet.
Indiana has regained the lead.
There it is. Take it to Gent. Let him take it to the goal.
Bailey just puts the hands up and Gent scores. Good call, Dick.
They ought to take the ball into Chris Gent. Little two-man game, Jimmy Jackson and Gent.
Oh, when you have somebody in trouble, you have to take advantage of it. Bailey with a drive. Clobbered. Jackson will get the foul.
Psychologically, it would be devastating to Indiana if Cheney would foul out of this game. Here's Bailey driving to the goal, gets the baseline. Jackson's really struggled a little bit defensively in his one-on-one defense. Graham stripped him and took him to the basket a little bit earlier.
Bailey 2 for 2 from the line tonight.
Wow, it's worth it sitting here, Mike. Unreal. I think about stranded 3 in the morning, getting into St. Louis, planes canceled this morning. But let me tell you something. It's all worth it to sit here at courtside for this.
I have never been here when the game wasn't like this.
Bailey makes the two. Let's see if they go back right at Cheney.
2-point Indiana lead with 6:08 to go in the game.
They're running a little curl move inside.
Skelton, who's been on fire since coming off the bench, missed that one. Bailey with a rebound. He's fouled.
No doubt about that foul.
Baker trying to avoid it, finally lost his balance and fell on Damon Bailey. That's 4 on Baker.
These fans have to be totally shocked. John Cougar Mellencamp was ready to celebrate their plus 19. We're ready to get on our blowout material, and we turn around and look what we see.
There aren't many people that you could tell, okay, how about this? Indiana's up 56-37 at home. They just had a tremendous streak to lengthen to get to their biggest lead, and the other team comes back and outscores them 25-2 and regains the lead. Everybody says, oh, yeah, right. Well, we saw it.
Without the coach calling the timeout.
11 points for Damon Bailey.
He just hates giving in and calling the timeout because it's almost like you're admitting weakness. Just like he hates to put a banner up that says co-champs. Unless you win it outright, he doesn't want to put a banner up there.
I like that.
He said, I don't want to put a banner up. We got to win it outright.
Tell you, there are a lot of things he does that I like.
Oh, I like him. I really do. I like a lot about the guy. I've seen a lot of his positives.
You may disagree with some of his principles, but that's what they are. That's where it all comes from. Jet Holloway, tough shot. Jackson kept it alive.
That's an All-American. That is an All-American, always making the big play.
26 points for Jim Jackson. He's carried him on his back along with Skelton off the bench.
And didn't force the action early when he was having a tough time getting the basketball.
Knocked out of bounds, last touch by Ohio State. Indiana ball, the Hoosiers up by 2.
We would have won the gold medal in the Pan American Games. Gene Cady would have won that gold medal if Jackson did not get hurt and didn't play in the semifinals.
5:25 to go in the game from Bloomington. Mike Patrick, Dick Vitale with you. Greg Graham for 3.
What a spark he has been this year coming off the bench. Started earlier in the year. The last 4 games prior to tonight, he came off the bench and averaged 16 points a game. Starting tonight because Alan Henderson's not here, out with the strep throat.
Greg Graham has 19 tonight. Thunderbird double team, forced it. He's fouled.
But did you see what Reynolds did? He rotated over to try and take away Thunderbird, spinning to the lane. Right here, look at Reynolds now. He comes over to try and take Thunderbird, who's a left-handed player, trying to take him away from going to the lane.
Foul called on Anderson. It will be his second. Graham, by the way, it's a non-shooting foul, they're calling it. Graham hit 3 3-pointers this half. Bad pass, backcourt violation, Indiana ball.
They've been able to get away for 7 minutes with Cheney playing on the floor with 4 fouls. Came in about the 11-minute mark. Jackson on the defensive end to give him a little rest, and you know as soon as they touch the basketball, he'll be back on the floor. This kid is special, special people. One of the greats ever to wear a uniform, and a tremendous person as well.
Indiana has extended its lead to 5. We're under 5 minutes. Graham with a baseline drive, and he's held. Foul will be on Jamal Brown. That'll be his second.
Another example of Indiana spreading the court, trying to get into dribble penetration from the wings, attacking the basket.
.447 left. Graham goes to the line. Coming into this game, and hit 32 of his last 38 free throws. He really improved his offensive game.
He seems to love coming off the bench. He seems to be so productive. If you're going to get 28, 30 minutes, what's the difference if you come off the bench? How valuable is he? He has played more minutes than anybody on the Indiana team, and he comes off the bench.
That's really revealing. The lead, 74-67, the crowd on its feet. Can Ohio State come back again?
They need a basket badly in this possession.
Jet Holloway got it. He loves that shot.
Has he become a solid player?
16 points.
A go-to kind of guy. Wants the ball at pressure time. Single reverse move. Look at Cheney trying to sit down in the box inside against Gent.
Randy Ayers really gambling right now with Jackson on the
nice
bench.
back cut.
Cheney, what a play. Cheney has 18.
Nice back cut. Staring at the ball.
Skelton line drive jumper won't go. Here comes Reynolds.
They got the numbers. They got the numbers. They're ready to rock and roll. I'd get a timeout if I were Randy, and I'd get Jackson back on the floor. I'd get a timeout. Good timeout, Randy.
Well, there's Indiana's answer to the Ohio State streak.
Now how Chris Gent gets set up as he stares at the ball, and he runs a backdoor cut to the goal. Cheney, number 40, catches him staring at the basketball, and there it is, right here. He releases to the basket, and he's got himself a layup. And there's the pass from Graham. There's the reverse layup. Baker's no match, can't rotate over and give help. Since he arrived back on the floor after Ohio State made their run, Indiana has become again a different basketball team.
Bob Knight took a gamble putting him back out on the court, but as it turned out, it wasn't a gamble at all. He doesn't put him back in, he may lose the ball game.
Had no choice. They were really broken.
And Randy Ayers puts Jim Jackson back in, and Gent hits another turnaround jump shot to cut the lead back to 7, 3.5 minutes to go.
He's got that good middle range jump shot, Chris Gent. See, they're going to try to set up now. A lot of backdoor cuts.
There's Bailey, blocked from behind.
Funderburk again with that good timing. He's had 10 blocked shots in 3 games, and he's only played a really short period of time. He's played in spurts.
Jackson back the other way, goes baseline, one hand, got it.
Anderson rotated over, gave a lot of help, but Jackson protected the ball.
Jim Jackson has 28.
My friends,
the lead is back to 5.
My friends in Columbus, you better watch him and love him, because this might be his last year. Intentional foul nailed on Funderburk, on Bailey. That's 2 shots, possession of the basketball.
And a real stupid play on Funderburk's part.
Not a heady play at all by Lawrence Funderburk. There's Funderburk right now. Watch him, number 34. Watch the intentional foul on Damon Bailey right up in his throat. I mean, that is absolutely weak. Should be ejected from the game. A Bush League play by Lawrence Funderburk. Flat out immaturity. No need for that in college basketball.
Absolutely. Of course, I think Damon helped a little bit on the pratfall part. I think he went down a little harder than he may have, but it was still a legitimate call for an intentional foul.
And a good call by Randy Ayers, taking him out of the game. Lawrence has got to play within himself. That is not going to help him, and I think that's been the problem in his career, gaining friends.
Yeah.
Dismissed from his high school team as a senior. Put out of Indiana, realistically, he leaves, but the word around here where the players were really frustrated. He didn't want to be part of the team. He's playing for a coach now in Randy Ayers, who's unreal, who's a great, great personality, who has tremendous rapport with players. He's got to be able to take advantage of the opportunity he has now at Ohio State.
And this could be the play that decides the game. They've already hit 2 free throws, and on the same possession, now they have the ball.
I mean, he put that forearm right in his neck, Mike.
Oh, sure, no doubt. Bailey for 3. A 5-point play, and it's over.
And that's how you answer. You deliver. You make the play.
83-73.
In basketball today, there's too much talking trash also by a lot of players.
Gent for 3, missed his shot. Randall follows, had it blocked.
He's got the trailer. He's got the trailer. Yeah, the trailer and Anderson, and the trailer. Bobby Knight is furious with that possession.
Jackson back the other way, fouled by Damon Bailey. Bobby Knight is really upset with Chris Reynolds. I mean, you've got 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the game. You've got a 10-point lead. No reason to force it inside.
Yeah, he had 2 trailers, too. They didn't communicate. Bobby Knight has felt earlier this year the one negative with his team is their ability that they don't communicate with one another, their lack of communicating. Jackson with a big 18, Gent with 18.
Greg Graham, an outstanding performance, 21 points. Damon Bailey with 19. Jackson at the line where he's 2 for 2.
You know, it's amazing. I got to give you a lot of credit here. You call that before it happened by Funderburk. saying to me, even at halftime, watching him going up and down the floor, pushing and grabbing on people.
Watched him in the first game against Michigan State. He was doing the same thing and got away with it, and that stuff will catch up with you eventually. Jackson has just matched his career high with 30. 5-second call. No, Indiana gets the timeout in time. We've got a timeout on the court. 2:03 to go in the game. Indiana leading Ohio State 83-7.
Chunky introduces another big...
Previous play when Lawrence Funderburg threw that cheap shot. Right there, we're going to see the cheap shot. Watch right that action in that area here. There goes the forearm right in the throat. I mean, that's no fake, Mike. He is really decked. And this is how Bailey on the reverse pass steps up, squares his body, tickles the twine, NBN, nothing but nylon.
And that's after he had the 2 free throws from that foul. So it's a 5-point play. The lead is 8, and that, so far, the decisive play in this entire game with 1:53 left.
And also, it took Funderburg out of the game. Randy Years did a good, strong coaching move. He's got such an opportunity playing for Randy and a great program at Ohio State with really super people like Jimmy Jackson. Everybody's extending a hand, trying to hope that he makes it.
Now, this surprises me a little bit that he would put him back in the ball game, but I guess you have to go with your best guns with 1:46 left.
Got to try to win the game. He hasn't been ejected. I don't blame Randy putting him in the game. But, you know, everyone's trying to extend a helping hand. They're putting the hand. They say, come on, Lawrence, we want to help you. Look at the numbers at the free throw line. Does that match what we talked about earlier in the game about the opportunities that they have been to the line versus the opposition?
18 more points for Indiana from the free throw line than Ohio State. And 8 out of 9 for Greg Graham.
That's been steady, though, all year long.
Sure, it's part of their offense.
That is a big part of their offense. Like Ricky Pitino has part of his offense, the three-point shot. Part of their offense, part of the Duke offense is the fact of getting to the free throw line. Hey, Duke, Krzyzewski, he played for Knight. Similarities.
85-75, the lead 10 with 1:40 to go. Jackson matched his career high. Dishes down low. Bailey really fighting and scratching inside. Knocked it out of bounds.
He's played so hard tonight, aggressively. I think Indiana is the best team in the Big Ten. I picked them preseason, #1 in the nation. They got beat by UCLA. UCLA's playing on the defensive end this year. Has good, solid athletes.
Jackson for 3, won't go. Funderburg, offensive rebound. He got an elbow into Anderson and got away with it.
I don't know. Where's the call there for the offensive foul?
Boy, Funderburg is really going to get himself in trouble if he continues to play that way. I know it's rough in the Big Ten, but there's a difference between rough and throwing elbows and forearms. 85-77.
They're going to spread the court. They're looking to set up a backdoor cut. They're coming up foul line extended. See, they come up foul line extended, so you can't give any help.
They don't have to shoot again. All they have to do is kill the clock. Here's Bailey. Travel. Not a smart play on the part of Damon Bailey.
Look at Funderburg talking to Damon. I think there's too much talking trash. We saw a little bit of that in the Michigan-Iowa game. Jalen Rose hits a big jumper, runs in front of the Iowa bench. No need for that when you're a great player.
Gent tries to bank a 3, can't get it, and Bailey is fouled by Gent. And Funderburg reaches out, and a nice congratulatory tap there, so no bad blood between the two.
You don't need it whether you're a good player, bad player, great player.
It looks like Indiana is going to go to 12-2. Ohio State will fall to 10-2 in its first loss in the Big Ten.
And also remember, they played without Alan Henderson.
Exactly.
6'9" diaper dandy who gives them mobility, gives them rebounding, averaging 8 rebounds a game. In fact, Randy said to me, you know, most coaches would say, oh, not a big loss. Randy said, hey, that's a big loss for this basketball team before the game.
Damon Bailey has hit 9 out of 9 from the line. He has 20 points.
Free throw shooting is so much a part of their practice plan. When they practice, you better believe the free throw line, special situations, is a vital part of their program. Indiana has hit 20 consecutive free throws. What a performance. You know who's played a heck of a game, and statistically it won't show? Right there, Chris Reynolds. His personality and his effort is so contagious to everyone. And do you know they were redshirting him after the first game with UCLA? Right. Bobby Knight changed his opinion. He disagreed with me. I said during the first game, I said, Bobby, You have a team that's ranked as one of the top 10 in America. Forget about number 1, 2, or 3. Why would you take a vital component out of there in terms of a kid that you might need even once or twice during the course of a season to win a big game? And his argument was, I care about the kid. He has a chance to be a really good player if he can improve his shooting. But then again, he came back and changed his opinion, and he's played a vital role with this team.
Jim Jackson has a career-high 31. The lead is cut to 9, and there's a foul. We'd like to pass along our condolences to the family and friends of Glenn Brenner in Washington, D.C., the wonderful CBS sportscaster there with Channel 9 who passed away this morning. And to all his family and friends and coworkers, our deepest sympathy go out. He was a wonderful guy.
Mike, my respect for you grows even more and more, and I have to say it now. We also have to pass our sympathies along to Mike Patrick from all the people at ESPN. Mike's dad passed away on Friday, and he's sitting here like a true trooper as his dad's really proud of what Mike's achieved in his career. My friend,
thank you, Dick.
You are courage. I don't think I could be as courageous as you were here today.
Thank you. Bailey hits another free throw. 89-78, 27 seconds to go. It looked like Indiana had blown the huge lead and let Ohio State back in, but they showed all the courage in the world. Thunderbird gets booed after hitting the slam. And Bailey fouled in backcourt as Ohio State goes for the steal. 14 seconds to go in the game.
Lawrence Thunderbird can be such a special player, Mike. He can be so good and so valuable to Randy Ayers. He just has to play within himself, get into that starting lineup where he belongs. You know, Duke and UCLA right now are a step ahead of the other clubs. I'm not so sure, though. Oklahoma State, I'm going to see them on Monday. They're undefeated. Their defensive effort, and Byron Houston is one special player, and their 3 guards can really guard people. Alexander Williams and Sutton.
Indiana certainly making a statement about having a chance to move up in next week's poll. Of course, this is what happens in conferences like the Big Ten. You get into conference play, and the great teams start knocking each other off.
And Bobby Knight, their number 1 priority, they don't really stress the postseason. They stress the Big Ten. And one record that I don't think anybody will ever achieve again, of all his marks, was the 2 years, 75 and 76, when they went undefeated in the Big Ten, 36-0. That is unreal. I don't think anybody will ever achieve that again.
Damon Bailey, 13 out of 13 from the line, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Not a bad night. 11-point lead for Indiana, 5 seconds to go.
And this
Jackson got it. Why not?
He played a great game. Jimmy Jackson played an All-American game. But it was all Indiana here. All Indiana.
Jim Jackson gets 34, goes to shake Bob Knight's hand. A Hall of Famer and an All-American. Indiana wins it after blowing a huge lead and then coming back 91-83. For Dick Vitale, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching, everybody. Here's John Saunders.
All right, Mike and Dick, thanks a lot. The Hoosiers surviving a scare in this one. Right now go to 12-2 from 19 points down. They take a 5-point lead. Everyone's thinking, hey, they got it wrapped up now. What happens?
You know, John, I call it the anatomy of the game. Every game has a certain rhythm. Basketball does too. When you're behind by a lot, 19 points is a lot, and you make a comeback, when you get it tied or ahead, you're emotionally, you're physically, you're drained, you're spent. So often you'll see in a game, especially on the road, if there's enough time, the home team then gathers itself again. And I agree with Dick. I was surprised that Coach Knight did not take a timeout, but when he got Chaney back in the game, then they had the run, they took the lead, won the game.
All right, as a result, the Ohio State Buckeyes losing on the road. Their first loss in the conference this year. They dropped to 2-1, as I said. Indiana now 3-0. We'll get to the second.